Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like your voice doesn't matter in your relationship? Maybe you held back your opinion, didn't speak up when something bothered you, or stayed quiet just to avoid conflict. It's something many of us experience, and the great news is, you can change it. And the great news is, you can change it. Welcome to Mind Matters Expert. Today we're diving into something that can completely transform your relationships, learning how to stand up for yourself. Because here's a powerful truth that quietly shapes every relationship in your life. You teach people how to treat you. And this doesn't happen in one big moment. It happens slowly, through everyday interactions. Every time you speak up, every time you stay silent, every time you agree or tolerate something uncomfortable, you are setting a standard. And over time, that standard becomes your normal. So if you want respect, understanding, and emotional safety in your relationships, you have to create that environment yourself. And it starts with one essential skill: learning how to stand up for yourself. Not aggressively, not harshly, but clearly, confidently, and consistently. Let's walk through how to do that step by step. First, it begins with something internal. Before you can stand up for yourself on the outside, you need to look at what's happening on the inside. A lot of people struggle with this because of old beliefs like, my opinion doesn't matter. It's better to stay quiet. If I speak up, I'll be rejected. These beliefs often come from past experiences, sometimes from childhood, sometimes from past relationships. But here's the truth. Just because you learned something early doesn't mean it's true now. So begin to challenge those thoughts. Replace them with something stronger. My voice matters. I deserve respect. I can express myself safely. Because the way you see yourself determines how you allow others to treat you. And once you start shifting that mindset, you need to build something even deeper: your confidence. Real confidence doesn't come from people clapping for you. It comes from you standing with yourself. If your self-worth depends on approval, you'll hesitate every time it matters. But when it comes from within, something changes. You become more grounded, more stable, more certain of who you are. And that quiet certainty is what gives you the strength to stand up for yourself, even when it feels uncomfortable. Now, from that place of strength, you need clarity, because you can't express what you haven't defined. So take a moment and ask yourself, what do I actually want from this relationship? What feels okay to me, and what doesn't? Where is the line? Because when you're unclear, your words become uncertain. But when you're clear, your communication becomes powerful. Clarity removes hesitation, and confidence follows clarity. But here's where most people get stuck. Instead of expressing themselves, they suppress everything. It's easy to stay quiet just to avoid conflict. You might tell yourself, it's not a big deal, or maybe, I'll just let it go. But here's what really happens. You don't let it go. You carry it. And slowly, it turns into frustration and then resentment. So instead of holding everything inside, say what needs to be said. Not harshly, not emotionally charged, but calmly and honestly. Because honestly, one honest conversation is far healthier than weeks of silent frustration. And when you do speak, say what you actually mean. Don't expect people to read your mind. If something bothers you, just say it. Not indirectly, not through hints, but clearly. That didn't sit right with me. Or, I feel like I wasn't considered there. When you speak like this, you're not attacking. You're simply being real. And that honestly shows strength. It also gives the other person a chance to understand and do better. At the same time, there's something you need to stop doing immediately. Stop apologizing for your feelings. You don't need to say sorry for feeling something. Read that again. You apologize when you've done something wrong, not when you feel hurt, uncomfortable, or upset. So instead of saying, sorry I feel this way, just say, this is how I feel. Your emotions are valid. They don't need permission and they don't need apology. Now let's talk about how to express yourself the right way. Standing up for yourself doesn't mean being rude. It means being clear and steady. You can say, I didn't appreciate that. Or, I need to set a boundary here. Even, that doesn't work for me. No anger, no disrespect, just firmness with calm. And, that balance is what makes people take you seriously. And one of the most powerful tools you have in all of this is a simple word: no. No is a complete sentence. You don't need a long explanation, and you don't need to justify your decision. You can simply say, no, I'm not comfortable with that. Or, no, I won't be able to do that. And just stop there. Because every time you say yes to something that drains you, you're saying no to yourself. Now here's something that will protect you in every situation. You can't control how people behave, but you can control how you respond. Some people will try to make you feel guilty, or small, or less than. But their behavior doesn't get to decide your reaction. Pause, think, then respond with intention. That's where your power is. And sometimes your message isn't just in your words, it's in your presence. The way you carry yourself says a lot. Eye contact, posture, tone of voice. If you appear unsure, people feel it. But when you stand firm, when your voice is steady, when your presence is calm, your message becomes stronger without saying more. Now remember this. Even if you have supportive people in your life, you are still your own strongest advocate. Don't wait for someone else to defend you. Speak up when it matters. Stand up when it counts. Because when you show people that you stand for yourself, they begin to respect you for it. And through all of this, protect one thing above everything else: your self-worth. Your value is not decided by someone else, not by their opinion, not by their tone, not by their behavior. If someone disrespects you, that reflects them, not you. So don't shrink yourself to fit someone else's mindset. Hold your ground. Hold your worth. And here's something important. Standing up for yourself doesn't mean being loud. In fact, the calmer you are, the stronger you appear. A steady voice, a composed tone, a clear message. That's real confidence. It doesn't demand attention. It earns it. Also, shift your focus. You can't force someone to understand you. You can't control their actions or their mindset. But you can control your boundaries, your reactions, your decisions. And when you focus on that, you stop feeling powerless and start feeling in control. Now let's be real for a moment. When you start changing, your relationships will feel it. People who are used to the old version of you may resist. They might question you, push back, or test your limits. That's normal. But don't go backwards. Stay consistent. Because once you set a boundary, you have to honor it. And over time, one of two things will happen. People will adjust, or they will fall away. Either way, you move forward. Final thoughts. Respect starts with you. So let me bring it back to you. The next time you feel unheard, disrespected, or uncomfortable, what will you do differently? Will you stay silent, or will you speak? Because standing up for yourself isn't about fighting. It's about clarity. It's about self-respect. It's about knowing that you matter. When you begin to show that through your actions, your relationships begin to change. Some grow stronger, some fade away, but all of them become more honest. And in the end, you're left with something far more valuable: relationships built on respect, understanding, and emotional safety. Before you go, I want you to think about this. What is one situation where you stayed quiet but wish you had spoken up? What stopped you in that moment? And if that situation happened again, what would you say differently? Pause this, think about it, or even write it down, because awareness is the first step, but action is what creates change. If this message connected with you and you want to build stronger, healthier relationships, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to Mind Matters Expert. Because your growth, your voice, and your self-respect all deserve to be heard.